Hey there everyone, it's Thakard and welcome back to more Survival Fountain of Youth. For today's video, we are going to be talking about the starting items you can bring off the Santiago. Now, I figured as long as I'm talking about these items, I might as well rank them in a tier video because people tend to enjoy tier videos. So these are my rankings for all of the starting items you bring off the Santiago at the end of the tutorial. If you have a different opinion about how these should be ranked, please leave those down below in the comments, as well as any questions you might have about the items themselves. First off, we need to cover the difficulty levels. Why? Because that changes how many items you can bring with you. If you are playing on very easy or easy, you get 3 items. If you are playing on normal, you get 2 items. Hard will let you have 1 item. And if you're like me and like to be stupid, you play very hard and you get 0 items. And much sadness. But anyways, for the people that do decide to take items, here is how we are going to rank them. First off, we are going to talk about the only S-tiered item on my list, and that is the Navy coat. The Navy coat is absolutely amazing. It has a protection from the sun of 100%, from the wind of 100%, from the cold of 100%, from rain 25%. It gives you 15 armor, and it gives you a minus 5% wound chance and a minus 5% poison chance. The only downside to it is that it has a durability starting off of 191 of 480. So this thing will break before you get to the leather tech. Probably. Unless you're completely rushing like a madman towards it. And the protection that it gives you, not having to worry about sunburn, which is huge in the beginning. Not having to worry about getting the flu is huge. And the fact that it gives you 15 armor plus less chance to be wounded and poisoned means you don't have to worry about those as much either. Like I said, the only downside to this is the durability. This is a must-have for anyone, no matter what the difficulty level. Especially on very hard. You got one choice on very hard, and this is it. Alright, next up we're going to talk about some weapons. First off, we have the gun bag. Now the gun bag contains a pistol. It does 150 damage. It has a starting durability of 200 out of 200, which is great. The pistol is really good for long ranges. It's harder to hit things that are charging you, which is a downside. But if you are looking at something that is medium distance to long range away, it is a great weapon. You can kill predators before they even know that you're there. It's wonderful. It's very highly recommended. Except the other part of the bag, which is 15 bullet charges. It only has 15 shots, which means if you hit the shots, you have 15 dead things around you, and then you have nothing. For that reason alone, it's going to sit down here in the B tier. It's really strong, really powerful, but you can't use it for very long. All right, up next out of our weapons is the Iron Spear. This has 40 damage. It does 90 throwing damage, has a durability of 112 out of 450. Now, a lot of people are probably like, the spear, this is awesome. It's really not. For one thing, if you're going to be, you can either block stuff in combat by using the right mouse button, or if you time your blocks when the charging gets up and it gets those little red tips on it, and you hit whatever is coming at you, it's going to stop the attack no matter what. So the likelihood of you getting hit is very low. So you can just sit there and be in combat for a while. It doesn't matter. You'll take stuff out. And you can get the wooden spear very early on. In fact, you build one in the tutorial when you get onto the beach. It's one of the very first items that you build in the game. You can get the stone spear, which has the ability to like one hit kill a snake when you throw it very early on by just getting the workbench up. So the usefulness of the spear is not actually that great. Plus the durability at 115, this thing breaks really early. So yeah, it's going to sit here happy in the sea, and it's going to be sitting there happy that I'm not using a deed category, okay? All right, up next, another weapon, but this is a weapon slash tool, and that is the Iron Axe. The Iron Axe does 50 damage. It does 75 throwing damage. It has a tool efficiency of 175 with a starting durability of 245 out of 700. Now, because this can be used as a tool as well as a weapon, it automatically beats out the spear by a huge amount. It is a shorter weapon, so you have to time your hits a little bit more accurately than with the spear. A little less forgiving, but you can kill like anything with this thing. So it's an absolute wonderful weapon slash tool. And the fact that it you can cut down so much stuff with it for a bit. It will break, but it'll get you some decent cuts for a while. All right, so that's going to sit there. In the B tier, up next we have the Iron Knife. This is another weapon slash tool. It does 25 damage. It has 37 throw damage. It has a tool efficiency of 200% and a starting durability of 210 out of 600. Now this one, it's going to be sitting down here in the C tier as well. Basically because it has such a short reach, you have to be very exact with your timings in combat. Because even if you are killing something with one stab of the knife, a lot of times you still will take damage in that attack. So it's not going to save you from a lot of damage. And as for being a really efficient tool, well, you can make the stone knife right away, and it'll get through the early part of the game without much of an issue. And then the obsidian knife, which is a wonderful knife, and it will take you really far through the game. You can make that very early on with the workbench. So this kind of just doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't have a good place to sit, especially when you're considering that you can only take so many items with you. All right, up next, we have the last of the tools, which is the improved fishing rod. Oh boy. So the improved fishing rod is a 70% catch chance and a durability of 140 out of 200. It's a fishing rod. You can go fishing with it. Fishing only gives you some meat and some fish bones, which you can turn into needles. So it doesn't really have much use whatsoever, and it's pretty much a waste of a item. It is by far the worst of the items here. The only reason it isn't in a D tier is because the way that I was setting this up, as big as I wanted my icons, I couldn't have a D tier line here. But it's definitely no, never use this. It is never worth it whatsoever, period. Plus you can make this once you get to copper. It's yeah, no. All right, up next, we have the leather backpack. Now, the leather backpack, many of you might go, Thakard, on my ranking of the list, it's in S tier. I understand. Let me tell you why you're wrong, okay? It adds 22 units to your weight and has a durability of 284 out of 960. It will break before you get that leather tech up and running. And you can replace it with either a leaf backpack, which is whatever, or a smaller little leather pouchy thing. I think it's a hide pouch. And that will help you out quite a bit. So you can replace this with like that hide pouch, and you won't be able to carry as much, but you'll still be able to carry some. The reason why this isn't in the S tier is in easy and very easy mode, you can carry so much weight just starting off that you will not be able to chop down enough stuff and fill up your own inventory, let alone the bag's inventory, before you have to go back and get some food, water, and sleep. Okay. Um, it's just now on normal, I can definitely see people using this because you have two choices and getting a little bit extra space on normal because you don't have as much starting weight limit is actually pretty good idea. That being said, you can make the cart and drag the cart around behind you pretty early on in the game. So for that reason, it's going to sit here in A. It's a nice A tier item. All right, up next, we have the fire starter, the Iron Flint. And this one probably people are going, okay, well, it's not a great weapon or not a great item. Let me tell you how you're wrong. Okay. This is the number 2 on the entire list. This is better than the backpack. Okay. Not quite as good as the coat, but only this much not as good as the coat. And that's because it has a 60% ignition chance. It has a durability of 240 out of 400. Starting fires can be a pain, especially considering the starting fire starter equipment is garbage. The 2 sticks ribbon together and the little spindle thing, they're crap. You will sit there and you will go through multiple hours because each lighting attempt is an hour. So you will go through these lighting attempts for forever, it seems like. And you will literally try and light it at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's midnight and you finally start cooking food. It's terrible. Having this with you is just wonderful because you can light those fires really quick, save all that time. Plus, if you're in the field and you have a torch, oh my goodness, you'll light the torch, you'll walk around the torch. You know, scorpions don't bother you when you're holding the torch. It's great. And then when you get back, you just stick the torch in the fire and the fire goes up at 100%. So this thing is absolutely wonderful. I tell you, the iron Flint is easily my second pick on normal, and it will definitely be one of the 3 on easy and very easy because there's nothing more frustrating than getting a fire started. All right, up next, we have the last of our bags, and these are bags of stuff. First off, we have the bag of food. This contains 10 bread, which give plus 25 food and plus 4 water. 10 apples, which give plus 4 food and plus 25 water, and then 10 smoked meat, which give you plus 45 food and plus 13 water. That's a lot of food. That will get you through several days worth. And, you know, it's like, okay, so I don't have to worry about my food for like, you know, day 1, day 2, probably like 5 or 6 days, maybe. So it has a place, but the problem is food is really easy to get. There are trees everywhere with food. You land on a beach that is loaded down with crabs. There are shells all over for mollusks. There's stuff in the water that you can get. You know, food is all over the place. The big issue is water. Now you can set up a juice tap on a date tree, which is very good, or you can go inland and get some water. The thing with this comes into play is when the RNG is not with you and you don't get any rain for like your water collectors. That's where this bag would shine. So if you are going to take this bag, I would say don't open it until you are dying of thirst, and then open it for basically the apples and save everything else, you know? So it's going to sit here in the B tier. I mean, it's fine. But like I said, it's probably not worth getting over other stuff. All right, lastly, we have the Bag O Medicine. The Bag O Medicine contains a lot of stuff in it, so listen close. It contains 2 clay and egg ointments. This ointment treats cuts and burns of all types and also heals for 15. It contains 2 powder from snakes and spiders, which treats poisons and indigestion of all types, protects you from pests, and heals you for 15. And then it contains 2 sweating potions, which will treat flu and overheating, gives you 25 water, and also heals for the 15. The last thing in this bag is a single medical kit, and that will heal you for 80. Now, this is a lot of really good quality healing stuff. The problem with it is all late game healing stuff. Early on in the game, you might get a cut, you just make a bandage and make it go away. You might get an upset stomach. All right, you take some chamomile juice. It doesn't take much time to deal with it, unless you are not paying attention to your health. These medicines really aren't going to help you. These are much more useful for when you're going on a long adventure later on in the game. Therefore, since their use is very limited in the early, I would say even into kind of like the mid period of the early access, it's just not worth leaving any of this stuff above it out of your choices. So this is my list of stuff, guys. We'll go through it one more time. S tier, the Navy coat, must have, especially if you are on the high difficulty level, and probably one of your 2 for the normal as well. You might be able to skip it on easy, very easy, but it's still number 1 overall. For the A category, we have the backpack for that extra storage and the iron flint for saving you massive amounts of time. The B tier, we have the pistol in the bag just because it's awesome. We have the iron axe because it's very useful both for combat and for chopping stuff down. And we have the bag of food for that get out of jail free card. Now in the C tier, we have the spear, which is not that great. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't take it. We have the knife, which is not that great. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't take it. We have the bag of medicine, which is actually quite nice. I wouldn't take it because you aren't going to use it early on. And lastly, we have the fishing pole, which is under the category of devs. Why did you even waste a starting item slot with this? Please replace it with something useful. Thank you. All right, guys, that was my list. Like I said before, if you have any differences in how you would rank these, leave that down below, along with any questions related to this or related to just Survival Fountain of Youth in general. If you have any requests for any videos coming up about what I should cover for Survival Fountain of Youth, please leave those down below in the comments. Now, this type of stuff, I'm only doing these because you guys are watching it. So please make sure you like the video and you subscribe to the channel. That way I know that this is continued content that you want. All right, guys, I will see you later. You all have a wonderful time in Survival Fountain of Youth. Bye-bye.